This is Mark Guerrero. Welcome to East L.A. Music Stories. My guest today is Rosella Arvizu, who was a member of a very popular group in the 1960s in East L.A. called the Sisters, with her sisters, of course, Ersi and Mary. They were very popular. They did singles for Bob Keane's DelFi Records, the label that Ritchie Valens recorded on, and a lot of other East L.A. groups. And Ersi went on to sing with El Chicano for a spell. In the early 2000s, she recorded on an album with Ry Cooder, Chavez Ravine, which Rosella also sang on. And my dad was on it, and I helped with the project. And Rosella went on to be an excellent ranchera singer. She did some projects with Mariachi de Mexico, the Jose Hernandez, one of the best mariachis in the world, and they're based in Los Angeles. So the sisters have a tremendous story, and Rosella has her own story, and she's going to tell us a lot of East LA music stories. Welcome, Rosella. How you doing?
Fine, fine, thank you. Doing fine.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for showing up at my gig last night.
That was fun. Ooh, that was fun.
You took over the place.
No, not really.
You're
I
talking to all
just
the
love to
people.
sing, Mark. I love to sing.
Yeah, no, yeah, you did that, but you also danced with everybody and talked to other
Oh, yeah.
couples, and you were social butterfly. You guys are a lot of fun. There's a lot here to cover, and actually, our families go way back, right?
Right,
My parents and your parents were from Tucson, Arizona.
right.
My dad and your dad, and I know about your mom, grew up in Barrio Libre, which is now called Barrio Viejo.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Barrio Libres, and he always talked about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And my dad wrote one of his greatest songs when he was probably in his 60s already, if not 70s, called Barrio Viejo, about
Mhm,
growing up in the barrio, and it's a love
mhm.
song to his barrio. And in that song, he mentions Duro y Manuel and certain people, hello, and it turns out that that was your dad was Arturo.
Yeah. And my dad's buddy, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you grow up at all in Tucson, or did you just grow up in LA?
No, we didn't grow up in Tucson, just in East LA, but we went to Tucson at least 4 times a year. We had friends of the family. We did our confirmation in Tucson, mind you, it's young age, okay? And all our godparents were there from the confirmation. And we liked it there. We really liked it there.
Yeah, our family would go there every summer because
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
my dad's parents were still there. I had so many cousins and uncles and aunts, and
Oh, yeah.
it's always been like
Yeah,
a second hometown to me.
right.
Yeah,
My dad loved it there. My dad really loved it there.
I
Yeah.
still love Tucson. I go there quite a bit. In fact, I'm going this weekend. My dad's going to be inducted into the Tucson High School Hall of Fame.
Wow, how wonderful.
So
You know,
anyway,
my dad got inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, right?
was he a boxer too?
No, it didn't have to be with a boxer. It had to do with his training.
Okay. And then
And he
Ersi
was,
wanted to boxing, right?
Ersi and my brother Art went and accepted the award there. I forget where it was at. It was in Hollywood somewhere, but they had a lot of boxers were there. And yeah, so, Ersi and my dad trained Oscar de la Hoya when he was 12 years old.
Wow. Yeah. So Ersi became like a trainer, but she was also a boxer for a while, right?
Well, yeah, but we didn't even know she was,
Oh,
okay?
really?
Yeah, because she knew my parents weren't going to allow her to be a boxer.
Oh, really? She did it on the sly.
Yeah, but she was good at it. She was so good at all sports, because she won all city tennis in LA. When she was in high school, she won. The PE teachers took her to all city tennis. She got all the way to win the all city tennis
Wow.
for LA. Yeah.
Wow. Your parents were singers and performers as well, and they were very good, right? What were they called?
Yes.
Duetto Arvizu.
Arvizu, uh-huh.
And they
Yes.
sang at the famous $1 Million Theater with all the big stars.
Yes, they did. And my mother wrote songs, like two of the songs that are in Chavez Ravine were my mother's songs. Okay, Ejército Militar was one of them, and Sin Tu Querer. Okay,
Mhm.
and she was a songwriter. She didn't like to perform too much. She played the guitar beautifully, though. And but she was our teacher. As soon as we started crawling, she would play for us, and we'd sit there and just listen. So that's who taught us how to sing, my mother.
Did your parents make any recordings?
No, not at all. No,
They were very popular live
right.
entertainers.
But you know that my mother was Queen of Palm Springs in 1934.
I did not know that.
Yes, we have pictures of that too.
Wow.
Yeah, she won that contest, and there was a contest that was not by the most tickets you sell. It was a contest that they had judges, and she won it.
So was your mom originally from Tucson also?
No, my mother was from Altar, Sonora,
Okay.
but she came through Tucson, you know, into LA. I immigrated at a very young age. So she lived over in Brawley and started coming down. She ended up in Valle Imperial, they call it,
Imperial Valley.
and then into Palm Springs,
What city did your parents meet in?
LA.
In LA. Okay.
She was walking with her guitar, and my grandmother told my other grandma called my dad's mother and told him, you have to go pick up Rita. My mother's name was Rita. She's walking in Hollywood with her guitar, and she needs a ride home. So my dad picked her up. That's how they met.
Okay, good, good. See, I wasn't clear if your mother was from Tucson either. I assumed she was, but okay, so your dad was from Tucson.
Yeah.
And again, another small world thing.
Yeah.
Your father's sister married my father's brother,
Right.
Uncle Frank.
Exactly. Pancho, that was his name, Pancho.
Yeah,
But
Frank, yeah.
Francisco, I guess his name would have been Francisco, right?
Yeah, we called him
Yeah.
Frank, Uncle Frank.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I loved him, and your aunt's name was Aurora, right?
Uh-huh. Her name was Aurora Arvizu, and she married him. And oh, he was such a nice man. Oh my God, your uncle was such a wonderful person.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, we learned a lot from him, believe me. We learned a
Cool.
lot from him. We were a close family, you know. The brothers and sisters always got together. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's cool. That's a small world that we have that
Yeah. Yeah, it
connection
is.
also. So anyway, so you guys were kids and you were singing, you and your sisters just to sing, right? And around the house and stuff. And when did
Well,
you
no,
start
we
singing?
sang all the time, and you know what? We sang a lot was the church fiestas.
Okay, you'd sing in the
Yes.
church fiestas.
My mother put us in every church fiesta she could find. My mother was the type of a person that wanted us out there, okay? Wanted us to get heard. She even took us one time and knocked on the doors of KWKW.
Mm.
And Terry Fregoso was the announcer there.
remember him.
And she told him, my kids, and we were with her, okay? My kids are here, they want to sing on the radio. And do you know he let us? We sang on
Wow.
KWKW. He
Wow.
let us. And he was like amazed.
So you're obviously singing mostly in Spanish in those days, right?
All the time. Never sang in English. Never. Until we became the sisters.
Okay.
Then my mom also always told us this. When they close the door on you, there's another one that's going to be open. So don't give up. Don't give up. She always wanted us to be just, singing all the time. And we did. We were. I got into a lot of contests after I started singing with mariachis. I won a lot of contests. Let me tell you about the one I won. In Mexico City, we went to go over there to visit my aunt's siblings. Okay, we were close to my aunt's siblings. And I went to Univicentro, and they had a contest, and I won it. And I was supposed to present myself the following day in Univision. And I couldn't do it because our plane came home that day.
How old were you at the time?
18 years old.
So were you already in the sisters at that point?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so
Yes.
that was later on. Okay, let's stick with the early days here. We're kind of working our way up. So now also when you were young, you'd wind up in these parades that you weren't too happy about, right?
No, that 16th of September parades, right.
They throw you
But
on a float.
on the floats and on cars but we understood my mom's ways of thinking, okay? She wanted us to get out there, and she was a very type of person that knew that it could be done. She never was afraid of anybody. Okay. I mean, she wasn't afraid of talking to anybody, put it that way, to get out there.
Right,
So
right.
it turned out really good. I mean, we were even on the KTTV in Spanish. Remember when, I don't know if you remember this, they had those TV programs on Sundays that you could go and Hora de Aficionados, it was called. And we would go and we sang maybe, I would say 7, 8 times on TV because they kept calling us back to go sing. And
Now, was that just you and Ersi, or with the three of
it
you?
was me and Ersi and Mary. Okay. Mary was, but it wasn't in English. It was with mariachis. So it was in Spanish. See, we like I said, we started singing in Spanish. How we got the sisters is that I sang at one of the sports nights at Garfield.
Yes.
Because my dad wouldn't let me go to the sports nights. I was in the 12th grade, mind
It was very strict, right?
Oh, very, very. So, and I'm glad, I'm sure glad. And so the PE teachers already knew my dad because of Ersi being in sports. So Miss Johnson, from a PE teacher from Garfield, went and talked to my dad and says, Mr. Arvizu, let Rosella go. We're chaperoning it. You don't have to worry about nothing, but we want her to sing a song for us in the sports night. And then he says, well, I'll tell you what, she can sing the song if I go. She goes, oh, you can go. So my dad took me, right? And I sang the song, and of course we left right away. That was fine. Right. But he got to see what it was like. Then Billy Cardenas, our manager, heard about us through, I don't know how he heard about me. And he went to my house and he called my father first to get permission to go and talk to me. And he says, he made me sing a little bit. And he goes, yeah, you could sing. Then he said, do you have any sisters? And I go, yes. How many? Well, I have 3 others, but how many sing? 2 more? So that's when Mary and Ersi came out. That's how they, how we became the sisters. So then he started working with us, and actually, he was very, very nice to us. He was very cordial, very respectful. And then he just got us, as I remember, starting working on songs.
Right.
But then he got somebody that wrote a song, which was G Baby G.
Right. But
and had us learn it.
First of all, I'd just like to say that for the audience, I always try to assume that people are seeing only this show. They may not have seen all my other shows to know who Billy Cardenas is. I just wanted to mention that Billy Cardenas was a manager of many, many bands and groups, vocal groups in East L.A. He got so many people started and helped them get their first record deals, and either with Bob Keane or Eddie Davis. And he was my manager too, with my group Mark and the Escorts. But it just goes to show you that he had this sixth sense. He hears about you and he goes over to your house and he goes, do you have any sisters? He was already thinking maybe he could create a female group like this, the Supremes or something.
Right.
So he had that in his mind. It's amazing that he thought of that. And then he came up with calling you the sisters, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. And he started booking you, and that's when you started singing more in English, right?
Right. That's when we started singing in English. Hardly sang any Spanish anymore. But I did, but Ersi, no. But eventually she figured out with, Billy, well, when the group broke up, it's because Mary didn't want to sing anymore. So she was getting older and she didn't want to sing anymore.
Didn't she want to be a nun?
Yes, she wanted to be a nun. Yeah. And my dad did not allow it.
He was strict in the other direction too.
Yeah.
Can't be too bad or you can't be too good.
But we did, her and I did duets, like awesome duets, because we sang, basically we sounded the same, okay? But I did all the harmony, okay? She sang first and I did all the harmony. And we were like always in demand to sing in places, like at the 469. Okay, places like that, nightclubs that had Mexican atmosphere.
Now that was you and Mary you're talking about?
Me and Mary, huh? Ersi at that point then started singing with
The
rock group.
VIPs who turned into El
VIPs.
Chicano.
Yeah, but she was with the Village Callers before the VIPs.
That's right.
Yeah, so she was with the Village Callers at that point, I believe. But anyway, I mean, we were always a family, always together, and us girls were always, tight with each other. Now, Yolanda, my sister, the oldest, she was a musician. She played the saxophone, and she played with big band kind of
Wow.
sound. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. My brother didn't want to continue.
What were
He
your
sings good, though. I sing with him. He sings good. But
What were your influences when you were young? Like, of course, you must have had your Mexican influences. As kids, I think you mentioned to me that you even liked the Beatles when you guys were kids.
yeah. You mean in rock groups?
Yeah, what kind of pop groups and rock groups did you like, and female groups?
Well, of course, the Supremes,
Mm-hmm.
Martha and the Vandellas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ronettes.
Oh, yes. Oh, they were awesome. We opened for them.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we liked, but there was a group called the Chantels.
Oh yeah.
That was an older group, okay, but they had the most beautiful harmonies in that group. So I used to listen to that because I'm my older brother, okay. But I liked a lot everybody. I liked all of them. I used to like Sonny and Cher. Oh, they were good too. It's just a different thing, and we started with that music and just kept going and learning. We learned a lot. So.
And when you were with Billy, he started booking you some of the East L.A. venues that we all played, and
Yes.
and then you recorded singles for Bob Keane's DelFi Records, and the first one, the A side was G Baby G. And where did that song come from? Was that the Dixie?
Called the Dixie Cups.
Dixie Cups.
The Dixie Cups.
I saw them one time perform live back in the 60s.
Yeah. And then because we played everywhere, Almani Legion Stadium, okay, when it was real popular then, with the premieres. Remember, he had the premieres. Oh, you should know, all those bands that he had.
Yeah, sure.
The premieres anyway. And then we had the Blue Satins. He had everybody that you could think of. He made Ronnie and the Casuals our backup band, though.
So the B side of G Baby G was All Grown Up. Where'd that song come from?
I don't know. I don't know who did that song.
And on that first record, you were backed up by studio musicians, weren't you?
Oh my God, yes. And also All Grown Up. Okay. We did the A and the B side at the same time. And these were all studio musicians. They were amazing. Amazing. That's the first time we ever recorded. So we were like, so.
Do you remember where you recorded?
In Hollywood somewhere. I don't know the name of the place, but it was in Hollywood somewhere. I don't know what studio it was.
Now the second single had Oop Oop A Doo. Now who originally did Oop Oop A Doo? Do you remember?
That was a gentleman that wrote it, and he was there at the recording young, okay? He was in his 20s. He wrote it, and he had a French name. I don't remember his name, though. I wish I had written all these things down. And he was there at the recording session, and the backup bands were running the Pomona Casuals for those two.
Right. So Ronnie and the Pomona Casuals were another band that Billy Cardenas managed, and they were from Pomona. And they eventually started calling themselves Ronnie and the Pomona Casuals.
Right.
And they were a great band. And my band, Mark and the Escorts, we did a lot of shows with them and with you guys. And Ronnie and the Casuals were a powerful group. They had a great African-American lead singer, and he was about 16 years old, and he sounded like Ray Charles or something. With this deep, mature voice. And I Want to Do the Jerk was their big hit, which was great. And they were a really cool band. I really liked them a lot. And you wound up marrying Ronnie.
Right. Yeah.
And had 3 daughters with him.
3 daughters.
All singers.
2 are singers and one's a writer. But she could sing, but she just always afraid to sing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because she can tune, that's
Okay.
for sure.
But the third single you did was Wait Till My Baby Gets Home, backed by For Sentimental Reasons. Tell me about that
Oh,
first
wait
song.
till my Bobby gets home.
Wait Till My Bobby Gets Home. Tell me about
Yeah.
that song.
Uh-huh. And sentimental reasons, yes.
Tell me about those songs, what you know about them, where they came from.
You know, Bob King would always give us the songs, or to Billy. So I don't know who they were,
Yeah, or where they came from. The
where
second
they
one
came
sounds
from.
like it's like a 40s type song. Was it that kind of a thing, or was it kind of a doo-wop
The
song
what?
for sentimental reasons?
Actually, I even heard somebody like Tony Bennett do that song once.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like a standard.
Yeah, it was a standard. It was a standard. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you did the three singles, and G Baby G and Oop Oop a Doo have appeared on many compilation albums, East Side Sound albums, and that kind of
Hmm.
thing. So those songs live on. And you did a live version of it on one of the East LA rock and roll shows at East LA College,
Hmm.
backed by the Blue Satins, right? You did Oop Oop a Doo and G Baby G.
Hmm. Yes, yes. And do you know that G Baby G just to make number three in the top 40?
Wow.
Yeah. We heard it on the radio and we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the rock and roll shows were awesome too. I think we did two of them,
Yeah.
but I remember the last one the most. Yes.
Yeah. And I think Oop Oop a Doo came out on one of their albums.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. One of the appearances you did was October 18th, 1964, with the Blue Satins. Guy Aversa, I told you, he just gave me that information this morning
Hmm.
because he has that album. But yeah, so you guys played, all the East Side venues, and in fact, on all the shows I do with the '60s East LA musicians, I look for the flyers that you were on just to show the people like who was playing, what the venues were,
Hmm.
what the scene was like. So I'm just going to go through these and I'll show them on the screen later. I'll put them up. And just to maybe trigger some memories, um, here's one. It's a back to school dance at St. Alfonso School Hall. And it's the Jaguars with the Salas brothers, who later became Tierra. They formed Tierra.
Hmm.
The Sisters, also Mark and the Escorts, my band, and the Rhythm Playboys with Our Little Richard. And I believe Our Little Richard turned out later to be Cannibal. So that's quite a little all-star lineup there.
Hmm.
September 19th, I'm guessing 1964.
Hmm.
You remember St. Alfonso's, of course.
Yes, I do. Uh-huh.
Okay, here's another one. This one is at the Big Union Hall. Remember the Big Union?
Yes.
Big giant.
We played a lot there. Mhm.
Yes, so did we. So check this out. Dance, 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 presenting the ever popular Sisters and their brother Art. So he sang with you. Do you remember that at all? But he's listed here.
No, but he sang in English, but no, I don't remember.
Yeah, he's listed there. I just noticed that this morning. Plus the Soul Brothers and four great bands: Little Ray,
Mhm.
Ronnie and the Casuals, and Mark and the Escorts, and the Blue Notes, February 20th, 1965,
Mhm.
the Big Union Hall.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, then the famous West Coast East Side Review at the Shrine Auditorium. You remember that one?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I've shown this on a lot of shows, but I'll show the two flyers for that. And one of them has a picture of all the bands. And that had the Atlantics, the Blendells, Blue Satins, Cannibal the Headhunters, Ronnie and the Casuals, Mark and the Escorts, the Heartbreakers, the Jaguars and the Solace Brothers, Little Ray, the Little Heartbreakers, the Medallions, the Midnighters, the Pageants, the Premiers, the Four Queens, the Romancers, the Sisters, and the Slauson Brothers, February 21st, I believe, 1965. That was a
Mhm.
biggie. And they put out an album with all those groups later, but they used studio tracks. They weren't live tracks.
Mhm.
And here's one at Belvedere Park Auditorium.
Uh-huh.
And it's Little Ray, the Sisters singing G Baby G, Ronnie and the Pomona Casuals, I Want to Do the Jerk, and my group Mark and the Escorts. And it's got a picture of these two old-fashioned people dancing, like from the early 50s or some mid 50s. Yeah, so that was, I remember that job specifically, and I remember Ronnie and the Casuals. And here's another. Do you remember this gig? This is was in the parking lot of Johnson's Market on Whittier Boulevard.
I remember that one.
And we all played, I believe we played on the back of this flatbed
Right.
truck.
Right.
And this one had the Midnighters, the Night Themes, Ronnie and the Casuals, the Queens, the Sisters, Little Ray, the Ambertones, Little Egypt, Mark and the Escorts, the Blue Angels, the Counts, and the Vandells. I remember that very, very well. That was
I remember it.
a big deal. Here's another one. This is the Big Union again on 49th Street in the city of Vernon. And May 1st, 1965, you guys have top billing here, presenting the Sisters with G Baby G, the Midnighters, Land of a Thousand Dances, Mark and the Escorts, a fast rising group, Ronnie and the Casuals, I Want to Do the Jerk, and their new record, Do the Freddy. I remember that one. Boys Wear Ties, Girls Dress Nice. 9 to 1 a.m., donation $2. And these are all teenage dances. These are teenage seniors.
Right.
No alcohol sold, but there was probably some drinking on the side or outside, and maybe a few reefers, who knows. But here's another biggie. Well, actually, yeah, this is a great one. I love this. This was a mailer they sent out. And it's the Big Union Hall, the Midnighters, the Sisters, Mark and the Escorts, and Ronnie and the Casuals at the Big Union, May 1st, 1965.
Did they ever show the big stars that were there, like Sonny and Cher?
Yeah. Maybe some of these have those artists, but yeah.
Ike and Tina Turner.
Yeah, there would be a Johnny Guitar Watson.
Right.
Even them with Van Morrison played the Big Union. And the Turtles played the Montebello Ballroom, and Roy Head, and I saw Billy Preston at St. Alphonsus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool, man. A lot of major Righteous Brothers played some of these gigs.
They did. Yeah, Righteous Brothers. Yeah.
Sonny and Cher, when they were Caesar and Cleo, and Sonny and Cher. Okay, here's another St. Alphonsus, the Midnighters with their new release, Whittier Boulevard, Little Willie G. The Four Queens, that was an all-girls band. Do you remember the Four Queens?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, they were the only female band. They played, bass, drums, and guitars, and they were really good. And I talked to maybe the leader of that band a few years ago, and she didn't have any interest in being interviewed or talking about it. It was too bad.
Yeah.
Because, they were the only female band, and they went on to record some records for Capitol Records. They changed their name, and they did some things later. Yeah, they just aren't interested in talking about the history. Now here's one, the Record Inn, which was a record store on Whittier Boulevard, presents Showtime with Little Ray singing I Who Have Nothing, the Midnighters, Ronnie and the Casuals doing the Freddy, the Sisters with G Baby G, the Counts, Pat and Lynn, Mark and the Escorts, the Vandells, Little Egypt and her Shindig Dancers, the VIPs, who later became El Chicano, for the benefit of Ben Sierra. I don't know who he was. At the Boulevard Theater. Do you remember playing in front of the screen at the Boulevard Movie Theater? Yeah, and we played there a couple of times. This was a biggie. So, my band and the Sisters, we did a lot of shows together.
We sure did, huh?
As a matter of fact, we backed you up one time, and you probably don't remember, but I'm almost sure we backed you up. Billy hooked us up with you guys. You came to our rehearsal, and we were rehearsing in the basement of our bass player's house, Rick Rosas. And you came over, and we did a rehearsal. And I believe we backed you at the Great Western Exhibit Center, that place down in the City of Commerce. It had a big building. And I have a vague memory of being on stage with you guys. But the drummer for my group, Mark and the Escorts, he remembers it vividly because I've talked to him recently. I interviewed him. I remember when we backed the Sisters, he goes, man, I was so blown away because they were so pretty, man. And I couldn't believe it, and he goes, I was so excited. So he remembers really well because he thought you guys were like not only talented, but really pretty, which is true. Here's another one. Um, Eventus presents Spectacular Dancing Show. This is at the Big Union again. The Midnighters and Little Willie G, Little Ray, the Progressions, which was Little Ray's backup band, the Ambertones, the Sisters, the Rayettes, the Epics, the Men from Sound. Now that was still my group. At this point, we changed our name in '66 from Mark and the Escorts to the Men from Sound. Few personnel changes, but we became very popular as the Men from Sound in the mid-'60s. The Prophets and the Impalas. It's amazing how many groups were playing these shows, huh?
Yeah.
And so many good groups. And by the way, the Rayettes were part of a Little Ray's situation.
Right.
Little Ray with the Progressions, with the Rayettes and the Epics.
Mm-hmm.
And later he added another singing group called the Four Clefs. That was called the Little Ray Review. But this is April 16th, probably 1965. Here's another one. This is Kennedy Hall. You remember that place?
Yes.
This one's The Midnighters. Love Special Delivery, and It'll Never Be Over for Me. The Great Little Willie G. The Ambertones, Men from Sound. The Runabouts, The Sisters. Kennedy Hall. Come Early, Expecting Overcapacity, Dressy Dress. So Kennedy Hall, we used to play there a lot. I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
So those were the shows that I have the flyers of that we were on the bill with you guys. So we played a lot together, obviously. But then I found a few where we were not on the bill. And here's one, St. Alphonsus, Boss Dance and Show. Do you remember when boss was the word? When something was cool, hey man, that car is boss.
Yeah, boss.
It's
Yeah, that's
boss.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, it was tough, man. Hey, that's a tough song.
Yeah.
So boss and tough were really happening in the mid-'60s. So they say Boss Dance and Show. There was a show on Channel 9 called It's Boss with Sam Riddle. Remember that?
Yeah.
So it says with continuous music, Little Ray, the Progressions, the Sisters, Ronnie and the Casuals, the Impalas, and the Tangs. Now, Ronnie and the Casuals were mainly the group that backed you guys up most of the time, right?
Yeah, because they were a backup band. Yeah.
Yeah, they backed you guys up. They did their own show and they backed you up. Here's one, a big dancing show. For the first time on any stage, the Midnighters and Cannibal and the Headhunters. And then plus Little Ray and the Progressions and the Rayettes, the Sisters, the Epics and the Prophets, the Impalas and the Runabouts, March 26th. Big Union, probably also, I'm guessing, 65. And one more here, and this is the VIPs Club from El Sereno. Little Dancing Show featuring Little Ray and the Progressions, I Who Have Nothing, Zulu and the Warriors. The only thing I can guess is they like the idea of Cannibal and the Headhunters. Let's be Zulu and the Warriors. The Medallions with Eddie Brown, the Sisters with G Baby G, the Counts, the Riddlers, the Exotics, and the Essence. So, I like to do this because it shows the people out there like how many bands there were and singing groups, how many venues, how many bands would be on each show. We'd go up, set up, and do like a half an hour, and another band, and boom, 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 all night long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. So you guys were back at least a couple times with the premieres too, right?
Yes, we did.
Who had that huge hit, Farmer John. So the Sisters, they kind of split apart, probably somewhere in the late 60s, right? Because when Ersi joined,
yes, late 60s.
when Ersi joined the Village Callers first, and then the VIPs, and then El Chicano, she was on her own and went off the mariachi direction. Now, what got you in that direction, and how that all happened at that point?
My mom always said that my forte was the Mexican music because of the feel. Okay, when you're born with that feeling of people pay attention to how you're singing, because as soon as I start singing, everybody get quiet with the mariachis, because the way we were taught was you have to sing a song that you can make the people feel it. Of course, when you're young, you don't know what you're singing. I mean, you know what you're singing about, but you haven't lived that. Okay.
Right.
So as you grow older, you start knowing, oh, okay. So you start feeling it, and I was the type of a person, she said, that made the people feel the song, and that it's a God-given gift. Not everybody has that, she said. But if you notice nowadays, anybody that can make you feel it, or like Adele, or like there are people that sing like, that they have feeling and can make you feel the song. That is what you need to have, because you can get people's attention real easily. My mom saw that I had that, okay? And so she said, you got to get back into the Mexican music.
Yeah, but especially ranchera music, it's so emotional.
It's almost like country western.
Yeah, very much so.
That's a type of a song it is. And I said, wow. So I said, okay. I told her, okay. Since Ersi was singing, I was still singing with Ronnie's band, but we were doing only weddings and, private affairs. We weren't doing concerts. But after Ersi, quit singing with El Chicano, she got a group started with, and I was in it, and we did a lot of nightclub work. Okay, we did a lot of we did the crescendo in Anaheim, and that was during the disco time, and we were singing in English. So we did a lot of stuff. We were very versatile, so we were able to do all that. And then, she's still doing concerts. She still is, and she puts me on it only because I sing Volver with her. People go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
We did the Chicano Festival in Vegas on September the 9th this year.
Okay.
So we do things like that. We still do concerts like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you sang with Mariachi Sol de Mexico, Jose Hernandez. That's one of the best mariachis. How'd you hook up with them?
Oh, Desi was in the board of directors when I met him, and he heard me sing with a trio. He was a friend of the family's from way back, okay? So he heard me sing with a trio, and he told me that we started dating, and he told me we should get you recorded. It's ridiculous that you don't get recorded.
Now,
So
who were you dating?
Desi Barraza.
Okay.
That's who I married.
Okay, I met him later.
My husband.
Yeah, so did he hook you up with Mariachi Sol de Mexico?
Yeah, because he was in the board of directors for Cielito Lindo.
Okay.
Kids, okay, helping the kids get
And
instruments.
that was the restaurant that Jose Hernandez owned.
Yes.
In El Monte.
So then he just got Jose to do the arrangements, and they recorded the music first, but I told him I need to go and hear the music before I record, because I want to make sure it's not too slow or too fast.
And which album was that?
A los Cuatro Vientos.
Okay, I think I have it.
The other one was with Teo Franco. I don't know if you know Teo Franco.
No. So that was the first album you did with that group backing you?
That was my second album.
What was the first?
First one was with Teo Franco, and he made the arrangements, and he got part of Los Camperos to do
that. Another one of the best mariachis in the world. And is that Sin Tu Querer?
Yes.
Okay.
And that song, Sin Tu Querer, is my mom's song.
She wrote it.
Okay. She wrote. And I did some of what's his name? Jose Feliciano. It was a lot of actually slower songs, not rancheras. Okay. There was some, like Mi Amor Se Me Fue. That's a real sad song. At that point when I was recording that one, my dad had just died too. So that was a tearjerker. And it sounds like that on that album, and then I said, no, I want to get to my roots from, rancheras. So that's when we went to Sol de Mexico.
So did you make those? Those were the two albums you made, the ranchera?
Yeah. Yeah. But the first one was more slower songs. No Ha Pasado Nada is a beautiful song on that CD. Beautiful. That was my favorite one. I don't know who wrote that, but it was done in a play. Okay. And I also did a play, by the way, the Life of Agustin Lara for the Bilingual Foundation.
Oh,
And I
nice.
sang 2 songs from Agustin Lara on that. So
That was my dad's favorite songwriter. I loved him.
yeah, he was
Um,
good. Yeah.
and so you did a lot of live shows with the mariachis as well, right? For those years
Yes, yes.
with
I
those
even
groups.
have, yes, I have my own mariachi now. Okay, I could get them anytime that I get booked. Yes.
Nice, very nice. So now, in the early 2000s, Ry Cooder, the famous guitarist and recording artist, legendary, he made an album called Chavez Ravine
Mm-hmm.
about how the Mexicans and Chicanos were thrown out of the barrio,
Right.
kicked out to build the
Right.
Dodger Stadium in a
Right.
very terrible way.
Yeah.
Some people had to be carried out and forced out. But anyway, so he made an album with that theme, and my dad was the first artist that he invited to be part of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
wound up helping out a lot with my dad and with the session because my dad was getting old by then and he was suffering from a little bit of dementia. So
Mm-hmm.
he had some physical problems. And so we got through it and he was able to sing 3 songs on the album. And I was at
Mm-hmm.
those sessions helping out. And a lot of East LA people wound up on that record, Little Willie Chee, you know, Ersi and you, and wound up singing with Ersi.
Mm-hmm.
And name the songs that you did on that album. 2 of them were your mom's songs.
Yes, 2 of them were my mom's song, and the other one that Ersi did most of them. Okay,
Was the other one?
I sang on my mom's the 2 songs that my mom wrote, but Ersi, I did background though. Okay, Ersi sang more songs, and they were almost all originals. Okay,
Name the 2 that your mom wrote again. The one,
Sin Tu Querer and Ejército Militar.
right.
That's the
And
one Flaco Jimenez played in. Okay,
right. Now, what about the other song? Was that Muy Fifi or something like that? Or what was the name of the other song
which one?
the third song that Ersi sang on that album? Let's see if I can find it here.
Songs in that album too.
Okay, hold
And
on.
then we loved your dad's song. Oh my God.
Which one was
And I
that?
hear it, your dad's song, the one your dad did, Barrio Libre.
Novario Viejo, yeah.
Barrio Viejo, I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a version of Audio Viejo with Flaco Jimenez on the accordion,
Yeah.
but he also did a song called Corrido del Boxeo about these boxers
Oh yeah. About
in that
boxers,
area that got kicked out. And then he did Los Chucos Suaves, a new version of
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh, that one was good. Oh yeah. He
So
was
how was
so
that?
good at all that. Your dad was so good at all that.
Yeah. So
Pancho Claus is one of my favorites.
so those sessions were done at Village Recorders, real fancy studio where Steely Dan recorded some of their albums, and it was funny because Ry didn't want to record down in the studio. He recorded up in the Masonic Lodge upstairs. That sounded like recording in a gymnasium, but he wanted it to sound like a live, and it was live recorded, in that room upstairs. And do you have any memories of those sessions?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I remember she trying to do one of the songs. Oh no, that was in her CD, and they got a piano player that was pretty famous. Couldn't do the song, so then Joey Navarro came in and told him play the song like I taught you it. He played it, and Ry heard it, and he goes, "Whoa, okay, that's it." Yeah, I can't remember what song. It was a real it was in Spanish, but Ersi sings these real beautiful songs in Spanish, and man, and it's hard for me to remember names of songs or who did them or what, but she did a good job in that album. But we like just everybody.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to go get the album because I want to find the song so we can mention it. Okay, the third song. Hold on.
Okay.
So the other song that Ersi sang was Muy Fifi. Did Ersi write that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you sang on that one too?
Yes. Background.
Great. Now, as you recall, I'm sure it happened to you too, because Ry wanted to record this thing live. It was done live. So like on my dad's stuff, the band was playing and there wasn't even any dividers. He didn't worry about separation.
Yeah, right.
And lead singer was singing live, the band was playing live all at the same time. So you were probably singing with the band at the same time also, right?
Yes. I was there at the recording sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, live is incredible. And like I said, he chose to do it in this echoey room because he wanted it to sound live. But it was
Yeah.
recorded live in the
Yeah, it was.
using the
with
recording
band.
equipment of Village Recorders, but up in the Masonic
Yeah.
lodge room or whatever it was. Yeah, what an experience that was. It's great. Flacco and got to meet Jim Keltner, the famous drummer that played with
That's
John
another
Lennon
one.
and
Yeah.
Bob Dylan and everybody you could think of. And he was such a
Yeah.
good guy. And he's half Chicano too. I didn't know that. His mother was born in Mexico. But it was a tremendous experience. So then there was an album release party and it happened at your house, right?
Yeah, in Donner on Bluff Road.
In what
A
city?
big early American's house. Ry fell in love with the place. That's why he wanted it there. And he asked Desi, my husband, is it okay if we have the CD brick come out party at your house? And of course, him and Desi got along really good. And Desi said, sure. So that's how it
What
started.
city was the house in?
Montebello.
Okay. I was there. It was great. Isn't it right by the freeway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big house, very nice, big yard. And everybody was there that participated in the album.
Yep.
And there was some of the band people played.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people made speeches and everybody was hanging out and eating. And it was unbelievable. It was a great event. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was fun. We always had big parties there. In fact, Sol de Mexico played for my birthday there.
Wow.
Surprise. That was a surprise from Desi. He hired them. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a great album, Chavez Ravine.
Oh my God, yes.
Did
you know I got nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was there. He took us. He took Ersi and I to the Grammys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. First time ever.
One on each arm.
Yeah. Yeah, because his wife didn't go. She didn't want to go. She goes, I don't want to go.
Oh, so what about so right around that time, you reunited with Ersi again and formed La Chicana and her review, right?
That one I don't know about. Okay.
You don't remember that?
No.
It's called La Chicana and her review, and it featured Mickey Lisbron on guitar. And it says the show featured the sisters doing some of their 60s songs, along with other classic R&B songs and ranchera songs with mariachi. You don't remember any of that?
Oh, was that in Ontario?
I have no idea.
I think that was the one in Ontario.
But you don't remember that name, La Chicana and her review.
Well, I don't remember if the flower went that way, probably because I remember that we had mariachis and then it was Ersi and the sisters that's the last time Mary got together with us.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's what you just
okay.
don't remember the name of the group.
No, I don't remember the name of the why they called it La Chicana in her review. Because there was Ersi that got the people that played and all that. Yeah. So it was Ersi putting a review on, I guess.
I'm guessing they used La Chicana because she was in El Chicano, La Chicana, and her review. I don't know.
Well, look at her initials, E.L.A., East L.A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we laugh about that. Wow.
And of course,
her name is Ersi Arvizu.
It says you did a few shows, including the Greek Theater, right?
Right.
It says with Tierra Malo and Tower of Power.
Right.
And Mary came back for some of those, right?
Yes, she did.
Wow.
Yes.
Now it says here, from when I interviewed you way back in 2005 or whenever it was, it says that your mother taught you girls, if you can quiet an audience down to where you can hear a pin drop, you got it. If you can get a tear in their eyes, you got it.
Right.
Good advice, right?
That's what I could do. Yeah.
That's it. You guys can all do.
That is like they call it in Spanish a don, okay? And God gives you that grace of being able to do things like that. And there's a lot of singers that have that. And it's just like, I sang at the 469 one time with mariachis. And that's why my mother was there. And then everybody got quiet. I was singing Paloma Negra. Okay. Everybody got quiet. And she goes, you could hear a pin drop. That's where she got that singing. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it was really nice. Yeah. It was fun. It's fun. To me, I love singing.
Well, you're
Or
great
she
at it.
says, oh, you're always like to sing. And I go, uh-huh.
Well, last night we had fun because you came up
I know
and
we
you
did.
sang, first you sang Angel Baby, and I backed you up on guitar.
Yeah.
And then we sang together, we sang Blue Bayou,
Right.
and we
Right.
harmonized.
Yeah.
And then you did
And
something on me.
yeah. And then I think I did 4 songs with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the other
I
one.
stuck myself in there and I said, oh, I better, because I get, like you said, crazy. Okay. As I said, no, but I just like to make the people, I make those girls get up and dance, come
Yeah.
on, you
Yeah.
have to get the crowd going. You have
Yeah.
to. So,
Well, we did. It was great. It was fun harmonizing with you. It sounded pretty good.
yeah. Yeah.
But your voice is still great. Sound great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. As old
So,
as we are.
as old as we are, we're still rocking. So yeah, so I knew you a little bit back in the 60s, with the sisters. And I didn't see you again, I think, until that Ry Cooder CD party.
Exactly.
And then I didn't see you
That's
again
right.
for years until I ran into you at Steve Salas's funeral service.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
right.
saw you there and I hadn't seen you in years.
Mhm.
Uh, And then um I ran into you couple of months ago at the American Legion out here in Palm Springs.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
where we really hooked up.
Yeah.
And you
Right.
came, and I was sitting in with this band at Casuelas Cafe in Palm Desert that night. And you came
Mhm.
in there, and so
Mhm.
I was rocking out. And that's when we really started talking about doing this show. And
Mhm.
I've been trying to get in touch with you unsuccessfully. And
Yeah.
so that
Like
did,
if I don't know the number
yeah.
and I didn't have your name on there, if I don't know the
No, I
number,
think I
I
sent
ain't
you
gonna answer it.
I know I sent you a Facebook message. You probably didn't even see it. A lot of people
No,
don't.
I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't.
But then you came into town yesterday, and I go, I'm going to capture her while she's in town, and we were able to set this up. So
Yeah.
so I'm so glad we were.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it. It brings back a lot of good memories.
Yes, it does.
A lot of good memories.
So how do you feel about just talk about your memories of the whole 60s East LA scene being a part of
Well, my memories are the best memories are the big union.
it? Yeah.
Who we opened for. How about Ray Charles? How about
Woo.
Stevie Wonder at the Paramount?
Whoa.
We opened for, he was the greatest. He was 12 years old. Okay. He was the greatest. Friendly. And he did what was it?
Fingertips.
Yeah.
Fingertips.
Okay. And he said hello to us. He had heard us sing. He says, you girls sing so beautiful. He goes, and he wished us luck. And then for Ray Charles, we were at the where in the heck did we open for? Oh, at the, there was this hall in Pico Rivera right on Washington. And it used to have a nightclub, and Ray Charles was there. Edie Gourmet, we opened for her too.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, there's a lot of, Freddie Fender is another one that we opened for there at that hall. And it's a nightclub actually. And that they had a big hall. And, just opening for these people that you never see again. And Rosie and the Originals at the Union, big
Nice.
Union. Okay. Remember them? I
Yeah.
know you were there that time.
Absolutely. And also, I was going to mention, you mentioned Edie Gourmet. She
Yeah.
made a very famous, beautiful version of Sabor a Mi.
Right. Right.
And a few years later, Ersi sang it with El Chicano, and that's become a big East LA
Right.
classic, her version of Sabor a Mi.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Ersi met a lot of people when she went to New York too, a lot of famous singers because she sang at the Apollo over there.
Wow.
And with El Chicano. I think it was Cannibal and the Headhunters.
Yeah.
She went with them.
Wow.
She was young. She was 16 years old when she went.
Wow.
And so, and she met, what's her name? Nancy Wilson there. And that's where she saw the Martin de Vandellas She says it's an experience. She says that you get awe because these big old stars,
Yeah.
but they're really cool. She says they're really nice, down to earth people.
Yeah. You mentioned Stevie Wonder at the Paramount. I have pictures of that. There's a picture of him in front of the Premier's drum set.
Oh,
And he might have even been sitting at the drums. I don't remember, but it's Stevie Wonder with the Premier's bass drum behind him. And yeah, he famously played there way back then when
yeah.
he was.
You must have played that time that we sang because you opened for Stevie Wonder too.
No, no, I didn't play. In fact, I never
Oh,
played at the Paramount in the
oh
60s.
no.
And I never did. Although that was my dad's home club in the 50s. My dad played at the Paramount from around 1955 to 1960.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me
So
close.
anyway, it turned out good.
Yeah. Speaking of the Paramount, I recently played with Los Lobos at the Paramount Ballroom. Last November, Los Lobos invited me to be a guest on three of their shows of their 50th anniversary tour. And
Mm.
the first night of the three, we played at the Paramount Ballroom. So that was heavy to play at a place that was my dad's home base for 5 years or so. And then it was such a venue for East LA bands in the 60s. And now it's all refurbished. It's a very cool venue. We played there. Then we played at the Whiskey A Go-Go the next night in Hollywood. And the third night, we played at Garfield High School, which is where I went to school. And we played there. It was great. And you were speaking of sports night at Garfield, my band, Mark and the Escorts, used to play sports night, and it was a big deal. I remember when we first got that gig, it was like, guess what, guys, we're going to play at sports. Oh my God. It was like we were playing at the Hollywood Bowl, right? And so,
I know.
so then you got to play there too, like you said.
Yep. Yeah, I got to sing, but the sisters never sang well, we sang at Garfield High School and the auditorium for assembly, but that was it. But other than that,
Yeah.
we didn't sing at the sports nights. No.
Well, that's interesting too, because that auditorium, the Garfield Auditorium you sang at, where I sang at with the Men from Sound when I was in the 11th grade for the whole student body, that beautiful auditorium burned down in the early 2000s and it was rebuilt. And when I just played with Los Lobos there in November, it's the new auditorium. It's a new, beautiful auditorium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in forever.
Yeah. So talk about just the camaraderie between all the bands. And I mean, you had this relationship with the Premiers, with Ronnie and the Casuals, with us, and just being part of that scene. It was pretty exciting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Little Ray, we got to be real good friends of Little Ray. We're still friends with him, of course. You just get in the Blendells, I remember them.
Yes.
They were very friendly too. We knew them through another part of not family but friends. Okay, that
Well,
knew
Billy
them.
managed them too, Billy Cardenas.
Yeah, right. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then when you play at the Union and then you stay there and hear these other bands. And my dad used to take us and drop us off and pick us up.
Did you do that the whole time through the 60s?
Yeah. Yeah. But then sometimes, he would pick up early and we had no choice but to go. So, but we tried to tell him, no, we want to hear the main people that are going to sing. And so then he said, okay, we'll take turns. One of my girlfriends from high school that hung out with me, okay, and my best friend, her father would take us or my dad would take us. They take turns, okay?
You'd always have a chaperone in a way too, right?
Yes,
ride
so
and a
that we could
chaperone.
come home, make sure we come home.
That's right.
We would, but then, they were always afraid of not having a ride, but it was good. We had a lot of fun, meeting all those bands, and especially at the El Monte Legion Stadium, there was a lot of bands that played there.
Did you play there?
And, yeah.
You
We
played
played with
there?
the Premiers there.
I never played there either. I never even went there.
The Premiers backed us up there. So
Did you ever play at the Rainbow Gardens in Pomona?
no.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, most of Billy's bands played there, Romancers.
Not that I remember. Maybe I did, and I don't know who it was.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Premiers.
but I would doubt it because that was where Ronnie used to play a lot too, because they were from there.
Right.
Yeah. So no. Anyway, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, We played most of the venues. You played most of them, but there were a couple we missed. Like I said, I never played
Yeah,
Paramount, never played Almani
right,
Legion Stadium.
right.
But it was a great scene, and
It was. It was a very honest, good natured thing that we did. Okay. We loved what we were doing. You loved playing with your band and singing. We did too, because we were brought up that way. Your dad was a singer. Look at how could you not sing? How could you not play? And a lot of these other people, their parents also were into the music.
So many. And so
So
many of the
many.
artists, their parents were musicians,
Yeah.
drummers, sax
Yeah.
players, singers.
Yes.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
DNA, a lot of us.
Yep. Right. 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 So it was fun.
Cool. Well, anything else that we might have missed that you'd like to mention?
No, no, I'm just happy that you do this. I'm very happy you do this. Okay. We're very blessed to have someone like you, because
Yeah.
not everybody gets to go back into the good times. Okay. There is good times now. Okay.
Mhm.
Like you playing over there. That was a nice place, by the way, that you play at. Wow. I go, wow, he's up there, huh? But the people were very nice there, by the way.
Mhm.
And seeing that and knowing, I'm still singing. Like I have my little, I have mariachis, the guys from part of Sol de Mexico that used to be with Sol de Mexico. Okay, so I just call them and boom, they're ready for me when I get a booking. So that and it's not very often, but it's let's say about 12 times a year.
Well, it's great that we're still performing and kicking butt. So many
Yeah.
of our peers have passed away.
I know. So that was good. I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
Really.
Like I say, somebody had to do it. I elected myself to do it. Somebody had to do it,
Yeah.
because these are
Yeah.
great stories that have to be
Do you know
remembered.
David Reyes?
Yes,
Okay.
he was
He
a
has a
cool.
lot of flyers.
Yeah, he does
He's
too.
the one that has the flyers about the big union and
Yeah, yeah.
opening on it.
Well, if you go to my website, markguerrero.com, go to the 60s flyers page, and you're going to see at least
Okay.
100
I'll
of
do
them.
that. I'll do that.
At least 100 of them. So there's tons of flyers on
Just
there.
one more thing I want to say.
Mhm,
My grandsons were at a daycare, mind you,
mhm.
and they went on YouTube. And all of a sudden they went on YouTube Music and they saw the sister's picture in there. And one of the oldest one said, "That's my grandma." He goes, "That's my grandma." And so then the lady from the daycare put it on and they were hearing me sing. So they come home and they say, "Grandma, did you know you're famous?" I go, "What? You're on YouTube, Grandma? When you're on YouTube, you're famous."
There you go. There you go. You're
I go,
famous.
"No."
Grandma.
Yeah, because that's all they do now, YouTube, right? They
Oh,
want to
that-
get them. They want to do things like what you're doing, but they're more into the engineering type of it.
Right, right. Well, I just love YouTube in general because everything's on it. I watch it every day.
Yeah.
You can look
Yeah.
up anything you want. It's
All
fantastic.
right. I'm gonna look you up now.
Look me up. You go to my
Look you
website.
up. And I'll keep in touch with you.
Yeah, please do. And
Okay, whenever I come, I say, "Hey, we're in town. Where are you playing and whatever." I don't go to sing. Okay, so don't
but you're
think
gonna
that I
sing.
want to sing.
You know you're gonna
No.
sing. I won't even be able to stop you either, I'm sure. No, it was fun last night. I mean,
It was fun. Okay, Mark.
Okay, thanks a lot, and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Next time you
Thank
come
you.
to town, give me a ring.
And God bless you for everything you do. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.